dollars just because it was sitting on the crawlerway. Okay. Everybody get what he'd like, or she'd like? Okay. Over here to your left are flame deflectors. They are from Pad A. You can see the scorch marks that occur when the orbiter's main engines are ignited, and the solid boosters do its work on that ablative type material. They have to be refinished again to be used for another launch. You may have noticed how close the water is to the surface of the land here at Kennedy Space Center. We are literally a swamp. Over to your left, those bushes pretty much are sitting in water. You wouldn't be able to walk very far into that brush. You'd be in the swamp. And consequently, you may look at this roadway and think about that a minute, because now you have millions of pounds that have to come out of that vehicle assembly building to the launch pad for the moon program. So what they did was to excavate all the way down to a depth of 7 feet for each lane. They refilled each lane with hydraulic fill, sand, gravel, layers of rock, and of course the top surface here of river gravel. This river gravel has no flint in it, and therefore it's very easy on trying to create any kind of heat or a spark as far as danger is concerned, because of course the crawler transporter is usually dripping oil in a force flush kind of system for its system to remain lubricated on the way to the pad. And you can see the tread tracks that they are made just from the platform and the tower. Just from the platform and the rock and the crawler. So consequently, when you have more than that, 18 to 22 to 24 million pounds, which is what the next generation of rockets will weigh, it's going to really put quite a bit of pressure. So they added another, they were at 6 inches, another 2 inches to make 8 inches of river gravel. And you will notice on the curves, the wood is built up even higher, so that when they make that curve and the rocks get pushed to one side, they don't overlap and tip over that capability to keep those rocks in place. So consequently, each curve has, of course, a little thicker level of river rock. Once again, it used to take anywhere from 18 to 22 hours to deliver the moon rocket to the pad, and of course a shuttle a little better, 6 to 8 hours, because they don't have to carry the tower back and forth. But since we're back to carrying the tower back and forth, with next launch, 24 million pounds, well, they're the heaviest yet. And so they reinforced this crawlerway with additional. Notice how high it is here, because this curve, of course, will be put a little pressure to the right rather than to the left as they make that negotiated turn. Crawler transporters built by the Marion Power Shuttle Company of Marion, Ohio. Now maintained here by United Launch Alliance. By the way, the crawlers, I have to say this because of who I am, they were designed by a woman. I think the guy said up and down, back and forth, tilted left, tilted right. It'll never fly, forget it. Very complex machine, has been faithful in its operations here. We anticipate it'll be around for another 20 to 25 years, getting our rockets to the pad. Crawler transporters, once again, Marion Power Shuttle Company of Marion, Ohio. There are 26 rooms in the crawler transporter alone. And once again, that deck can go up and down, tilted left, tilted right, as they go up the ramp at the pad to keep the rocket absolutely vertical when they make the ingress to the pad. Fantastic machines. The other one is inside the vehicle assembly building, being beefed up and upgraded a little bit, being sure it'll be ready to go when the time comes to deliver our next generation of rockets to the pad. Once again, don't forget, that program is NASA's program. Other than that, NASA's launches are usually on purchased packages on other rockets, either built for the Air Force or for SpaceX. Boeing is becoming involved, though. We'll talk about that in just a moment.
Kennedy Space Center is undergoing extensive changes as we prepare for the future. With such a diverse array of vehicles seeking launch support and processing capabilities, we're modernizing and streamlining our facilities to serve a variety of rockets and spacecraft, both government and commercial. That ambitious job falls to the center's Ground Systems Development and Operations program, and work is already well underway on Launch Complex 39B. The new 355-foot tall mobile launcher, a refurbished crawler transporter, and inside the center's iconic vehicle assembly building.
To the left of the vehicle assembly building, you see the other low building up there with the glass windows. That is the Launch Control Center. 4 firing rooms in there. All 4 were used for the Apollo program, with as many as 300 to 400 individuals manning individual consoles at different stations along the way. You'll get a view of that when you get to the Apollo Saturn V Center, with a recreation of not only a small portion of those controls center console, but also the film will show you the inside of the real Launch Control Center with the banks and banks of computers they took to launch the rocket. Then for the shuttle program, we now have nest memory computers. We're down to 2 firing rooms, the 2 in the middle over there. And of course, they were for the 135 shuttle launches. A lot of automatic sequencing completed there, with a lot of the computers that were much more upgraded. And then now for this next generation of rockets, we're only going to use that last portion of windows closer to the vehicle assembly building, firing room. We'll only be launching, remember, well, it takes 9 months to get to Mars. It takes 18 months to get back. And we'll be probably overlapping not too much, so we maybe only have 7 more launches planned. And of course, Kennedy won't be quite so busy. Once she's launched, Kennedy pretty much is finished, then Houston takes over with any manned vehicles. To your left now, we still have the flagpole over here. We have the blue box at the base is the countdown clock. The only launches you watch have been on television. You watch that a great deal because there is a press site there on the left. They will keep it in view during the countdown and the launches for all of our launches here. You put the journalists at least 3.5 miles away. Once again, the area between the building and the right and the pad would have been evacuated, except for astronauts, security, and rescue teams. The flag on the building up there, 209 feet long, 110 feet wide. Each star, 6 feet across, each stripe, 8 feet across, as wide as this bus. You could put a nice 3-bedroom house, 2-car garage, pool in the backyard up there on that flag, and plenty of space. To your right, 3 low buildings over there, cream-colored with gray roof lines, making up the orbiter processing facilities. That's where the orbiters were checked out between launches. All 135 orbiters were checked out there before they launch. Today, being used by Boeing, because they will be building on a spacecraft that will be delivering, again, people to the space station, as many as 4 to 7 people. And of course, we'll hear about that in just a moment. The other orbiter processing facility is being used by the Air Force for its X-37B, an unmanned vehicle that orbits the Earth on surveillance purposes, and they don't tell me what they do.
As the future unfolds, collaboration will be the key to maintaining our success. The Center Planning and Development Office is hard at work developing partnerships that will share the center's unique resources while advancing its goal as a robust multi-user spaceport. Facilities previously dedicated to the space shuttle are now being used by commercial companies. For example, Orbiter Processing Facility number 3 will be used by the Boeing Company for the manufacture and assembly of its CST-100 spacecraft. And the new exploration park, including the Space Life Sciences Lab, will serve as a hub for cutting-edge research and technology, most of which will be tested in space 250 miles above Earth, aboard the International Space Station.
Okay, now we are almost on our last leg here. You see another mobile launch platform over there, sitting on the pedestals with no crawler underneath it. Of course, we have 3. That one is for sale. Any of you interested? Have at it. Moving it would be difficult. Coming up on the Gator Pit, this is where one body of water crosses to join another. Provides a good buffet line for the alligators. They usually just sit here and wait to see what slides by. Let's take a look here to the right, see if anybody's fishing this morning. Yeah. Breakfast is over. Lunch is not yet served. Off to your left now, you see a white Watson-type hut over there. That's at the south end of the runway. The runway extends to the right of that, 3 miles through the marshland. It is one of the longest paved runways in the world. Orbiter returned as a glider. No engines on board that would allow her to fly anywhere she pleased. It was a long computer-guided fall back to Earth. She dropped very rapidly over Western Australia. She cut her speed to 17,300 miles per hour. 1 hour later, she lands here at 250 miles an hour. Think about that just for a second, ladies and gentlemen. A very steep decline, 82 feet per second. That's like being on the top of an 8-story building, getting to the elevator in 1 second and doing it for 1 hour. Well, there were consequences. 60% of the astronauts experienced what they politely called stomach awareness. So they were strongly cautioned on what and how much they should eat before returning to Earth, because all that descent so rapidly could have an awful effect on what was sitting in your stomach during that time period. And they were strongly cautioned because we frequently had maybe one, and that's all it took, was one of the crew that could not be able to keep the food down. So here we are at the Apollo Saturn V Center, and you'll be going in here for that 3-part program. When you come out, you will be boarding a different bus, so please be sure you take all of your personal items with you, even any trash, whatever you brought with you. Please take with you. Security does not like going through my trash. Once again, it takes about anywhere from an hour and a half in here. When you come out of the building, you exit through the gift shop, that's Florida law. You get a bus to go back to the beginning, the visitors complex. Once again, we thank you for making Kennedy Space Center part of your day. If you like this part of the tour, my name is June. If not, it's Sophie.
There's that bonus.
Wir werden dann wieder abgeholt.
Wir gehen durch den Giftshop. Sind wieder da.